Unholy Trinity. Western cinema might not be as booming as it once was, but that doesn't mean the genre has lost its firepower. The Unholy Trinity, directed by Richard Gray, is a cowboy-style adventure that breathes new life into the classic Wild West spirit, complete with gun duels, a town harboring dark secrets and quirky characters that feel right at home on the frontier. The story kicks off with Henry Broadway, Brandon Lessard, a naive young man who has just met his biological father, only to witness him being hanged. In his final moments, the father, played by Tim Daly, insists he's been framed and begs Henry to clear his name. With no other plans in life, and perhaps intrigued by the thrill of the mission, Henry sets off for a small Montana town in the year 1888. But what he finds is far from welcoming. His father is loathed by the townspeople, and the man accused of framing him is already dead and revered like a local hero. This is where the other two members of the Trinity come into play. Gabriel Dove, a dignified sheriff with unshakable moral principles, played by Pierce Brosnan, and Saint Christopher, a mysterious figure whose morality dances in the gray, portrayed by Samuel L. Jackson. Sounds interesting, right? So how does the film actually stack up? Henry himself is a rather unusual Western lead, not the rugged, cynical type we're used to, but someone far too clean-cut. Even when trying to rescue a local sex worker, played by Katrina Bowden, he fails, simply because he's too slow to pull the trigger. That moment made me realize Henry isn't a ready-made hero, but a young man still searching for his identity. Visually, the Unholy Trinity nails the Western ambiance convincingly. It's not flashy, but solid enough to transport us to late 19th century frontier America. The music and cinematography don't try too hard to be epic, but they effectively support the film's tone and genre. The film may not reach awesome status, but in a cinematic landscape where fresh westerns are rare, this one feels like a welcome oasis, offering a story with vision, style, and occasional moments of sharp dialogue and moral tension. That said, if you're hoping for a high adrenaline ride or a deeply intense drama, you might find the story a bit too tame. Still, for Western fans, this is more than just a decent watch. Thanks to powerhouse performances from Brosnan and Jackson, the film has a strong presence and enough weight to hold your attention. To say the film is bad would be unfair. After all, I'm just a film lover, not a director, not a professional critic whose words shake up the industry. I don't have the technical background to break down cinematography or dissect a script's narrative structure. But as a viewer, I have honest feelings and impressions every time I watch a movie, and that's what this review is based on. I know my opinion won't change the film world, let alone make a director rethink their vision or a studio hesitate. But maybe because I am just an average moviegoer, I feel freer to be honest, to share what lingers in my heart after the credits roll, what makes me think for hours, or even what nearly put me to sleep halfway through. When it comes to scores, I often feel that numbers alone don't fully express what I feel after watching a movie. I might give a film a low rating but still find a lot I truly enjoyed. Or the opposite, a high score, but one nagging detail left me frustrated walking out of the theater. So to me, a rating is just a pointer, not the full picture. What matters more is the story behind the score, why I gave it, what stayed with me, and whether this story is one worth remembering or forgetting. In the end, this is just the voice of someone who simply enjoys movies. Not to judge, just to share. Hopefully it gives you something to consider when you're wondering, is this film worth watching?